I'm not sure if you've heard, but there's a presidential election coming up. My name's Joe Conroy. I'm a certified financial planner, and it seems that all the conversations I'm having in the recent weeks, and probably for the next several weeks to come, is about the election and what that means for your investments and your portfolio. So what I want to do is go back to 1933 when FDR was first elected, and let's look at these different election cycles and kind of what has played out in the past. Now, I know the times are very different than back in 1933 when FDR was elected, but we do see some patterns, and while this election's definitely very different, I would say that every election in the past has also been different for different reasons. If you had invested $1,000 when FDR first became president, that amount would have grown to over $14 million if invested in the S&P 500. And over that time frame, since 1933, we've had 7 Democratic presidencies and we've had 7 Republican presidencies. In an election year, what we have found is that stocks on average will grow 5.8%. Maybe it's because investors remain cautious, waiting to see what the market's going to do or who's going to win the election and what the rules or priorities might be for the future presidency. The year following an election, the markets on average grow by over 10%. Now keep in mind these are averages. That doesn't mean that you can expect those numbers on the dot, right? But it gives us some guidance. So there's some uncertainty that kind of keeps a lid on what we can expect. And then once that uncertainty is lifted, the ceiling grows higher for what we can expect for growth. A lot of people are talking about just going to cash and waiting this thing out. Historically, we've seen 3 times more inflows into money market funds in the year of an election compared to years outside the election. So that's a common thought, but here's how that strategy has played out. Over the last 22 presidential elections, going back to 1930s, only 3 out of those 22 instances would going to cash have benefited you and your portfolio compared to staying invested or auto investing over time, like a 401k contribution type of thing. So the odds are not in your favor that going to cash will produce better results than staying fully invested. Please feel free to give me a call if you have concerns, but looking at that long-term approach and not worrying so much about the short-term headlines and the elections might be better suited. As always, thank you for watching. Hi, Piper. Hey, who are you voting for this election cycle? Really? I wouldn't have pictured that.